It was one of those Boston winters where the wind found every gap in your coat, every hole in your gloves, every crack in your resolve. At the corner of Dorchester and 6th, the bus stop bench sat under a flickering street lamp, half buried in snowdrifts hardened like stone. Every night, after her double shift at St. Mary's Community Hospital, 28-year-old Eva Ramirez sat there, waiting for the number 19 to rattle her back to her tiny basement apartment. Eva didn't stand out. Scrubs hidden under a puffer coat, brown hair tucked in a beanie, tired eyes, a canvas tote bag clutched tight to her side. To other commuters, she was just another young nurse, exhausted and quiet. They didn't notice what was inside her bag. Not pills or files or leftover cafeteria food, but folded blankets. Wool ones, mismatched. Some new, most secondhand, always clean. It started her first winter working nights. Eva knew that bus stop, knew who hid behind the benches after the last bus came and went. Kids. Not all homeless, but close enough. Families doubling up with cousins or sleeping in shelters that locked their doors by 9. The city offered programs, some, but you had to find them first. And when you were 12 or 14 or 17 with nowhere to go, you didn't line up at City Hall, so they came here. The corner where the streetlight flickered. They learned quick that Eva wasn't a threat. At first, she'd slip them a granola bar from her lunch, then a scarf she'd knitted between patient rounds, then blankets, always one at a time, never a fuss. Eva's father had taught her that. Ramon Ramirez, Gulf War vet, died before his 45th birthday. PTSD took the parts the desert didn't. He never made the news. But when Eva was 7, she remembered this. Her dad pulling off his own coat to wrap around a man at a bus stop in the freezing rain. Didn't ask for thanks. Didn't stick around to explain. "It costs you nothing to warm someone else," he'd said later, voice rough, eyes soft. When he died, all he left behind was that coat, frayed at the cuffs, smelled faintly of old soap and motor oil. Eva kept it in her closet. Some nights she'd wear it to the stop, letting the wool scratch her cheeks. It made her feel like he was sitting right beside her, nodding approval when she slipped a blanket into cold hands. The hospital always called her overly tender-hearted. She always stayed an extra hour, checking on the elderly patients with no visitors, double-checking the chart of the uninsured mom with 3 jobs. One January night, the snow fell sideways. Her breath smoked in the wind as she walked to the stop. She almost turned back. She'd had enough blankets for 3 kids tonight, not 5. But when she saw the shape under the bench, too small, too still, she knew she'd stay. She knelt in the slush. A boy, maybe 11. Jeans soaked stiff, breathing shallow. Eva peeled off her gloves. She tucked one blanket under his head, another around his chest. She took off her father's coat, the one she never gave to anyone, and wrapped him in it too. She waited. Bus after bus hissed past. No one asked questions. When the ambulance lights finally painted the snow orange and blue, Eva stood shivering but calm. She didn't give her name. She didn't tell the paramedics who she was. She just watched until they were gone. After that night, the kids whispered about her. The nurse lady, the blanket angel, Miss Ramirez. She never corrected them. She never asked for help. The nurses' station at St. Mary's sometimes wondered why her locker smelled faintly of mothballs and cheap wool. They figured she was taking old linens for stray cats or street dogs. They never guessed the truth. One night, she didn't show up. 3 kids huddled together, waiting for the gentle voice, the wool blankets, the whispered promise. "One more week, okay? We'll get through this." Instead, a bus hissed to a stop, but she wasn't on it. They waited an hour, then 2. The streetlight flickered. The snow fell. At sunrise, a city outreach van pulled up instead. 2 days later, a local reporter found her name. Eva Ramirez, found collapsed in the staff bathroom after her shift. Severe pneumonia, untreated for days. She kept working. She kept the bench warm. She'd kept giving. When the city pieced it together, the blankets, the stories from kids, the coat, they understood. They ran her story for a day. A young nurse who cared too much. The hospital posted a photo. The mayor said the right words, but the kids, they did more. A month later, the city built a small heated bus shelter on that corner. Inside, a metal plaque, in memory of Eva Ramirez. She kept the bench warm. A woman nobody really knew had made them see. And every winter since, when the wind cuts through Boston and kids huddle together at the corner of Dorchester and 6th, they sit under that little roof, and they stay warm. Because of her. Because of a father's coat. Because of a nurse who didn't.